computer. There's a record, and I'll give you a number. And I
Mhm.
do have a summary if anyone's, wondering. Which was really hard to write. This movie was really hard to write a summary, like surprisingly hard to write a summary for.
Well,
I
it's
guess
more
because
complicated than
You
people
make
are
it short.
expecting it to be.
it's more complicated than people were expecting to be. Part I'm not saying it in an insulting way that it doesn't make any damn sense. I'm saying that in, like a fun way, but it didn't make any damn sense in a lot of parts. So,
No.
uh, okay. Well, 54. Sorry, I was just looking for your number. Now I've got it.
In at number 54. All right, all right, all right, all right.
We did get the line. When we got the line, I was like,
Yeah,
we really got the line. We got
we
the
got the
all right,
line.
I know. I was like, no way. I guess it's
Yeah.
like what are other things that actors say in just every movie? Let's see.
I'll
Shia
be
LaBeouf
back.
going, no, 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 no.
Oh, Keanu Reeves, whoa, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah,
And then there's other things
Schwarzenegger
like,
did like
Oh, the Owen Wilson. Wow.
oh
mhm.
yeah, well, but
I feel like
Schwarzenegger did
that's B
an
tier.
artificially inflated number of I'll be backs. Like,
Hmm.
let's face it, there are definitely some of those where you could consider shoehorned in.
And of
Yeah.
course,
But I think the
Tom Cruise
difference
is
between
gonna.
this Schwarzenegger I'll Be Back and these is those are Schwarzenegger's I'll Be Backs were presumably in the script.
And he took
Whereas I
it.
think
Who
these are
knows?
just the actors' sort of natural ad libs.
I
Yeah.
Well, there
Uh,
weren't memes, so
Hmm.
they wouldn't have just put all right, all right, all right in the
No,
script.
no, no memes in
Certainly not
1994
at
or
this stage.
97, whatever this is.
No
And
memes.
sorry, I just had a shout out, of course, Tom Cruise running and Tom Hanks pissing. That's my favorite. Tom Hanks has to piss in every movie. There has to be a scene of him
What if
urinating.
what if we combined Tom Hanks and Tom Cruise and we had a guy who is running while pissing in every movie?
George Carlin made that joke. He's
Mark,
also shitting.
watch Kaiju number 8.
Hell yeah. Say
Films
no
and
more.
Filth. It's the Citizen Kane of podcasting. This is Matt here. There is,
Film. I mean, Mark.
yeah, there is.
Filth. I mean Luke.
I was hoping you'd claim the filth. And our filth master is back today. He's never done a quote unquote good film with us. It's Andrew. Hi.
Hi.
Here to
Uh,
talk about another movie with somebody with an artificial leg for almost no reason.
he uses it, and
Mechanical
then it
leg.
causes him problems.
But I mean,
When I was doing the summary, by the way, and I was on Wiki, it said cybernetic leg. I'm like, that's too big a word.
Yeah,
this
it's
film
also, I
is
don't
for
think, accurate.
intellectuals.
Of
I
Texas
I
Chainsaw, the return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the next generation. That is the better title. This is the case where the studio note was correct. Question.
I don't know. Both of those are not great. I think that this movie
Next
deserved
in
a better
the
title.
mid 90s, calling it the next generation is a masterstroke. I think I'm going to disagree with you on that.
Sure. I guess Star Trek had just come out. The thing that strikes me upon this viewing, which is my second, is Twin Peaks. Like,
Okay.
this definitely they were doing Twin Peaks. Like the yelling parts of Twin Peaks with this. Which I'm not saying that's a complaint. I think it's great.
So
This
it
is
should have
the
ended with a guy like with a spider about to fall on while his what is tied to his what? I don't remember how Twin Peaks ends with Leo.
his dick's tied to his leg. I don't know. I haven't seen
That's
it.
not what happens.
Um
It's the network TV, but
um yeah, this is like the third Bad List movie that I've seen that we've gone over, and I've pretty much liked. This is probably my favorite one of the
this
ones
is
I've
the
seen.
one. This is one of the ones I've definitely been looking very forward
All
to
of them.
seeing. I think maybe you guys, not including Luke, sorry. I think you guys might have seen a screening of this, and I just couldn't go, and I never saw it till last night.
Yeah, Dan and I went to see it. It was at a theater we'd never been to before, very small.
Mhm.
Um, and it was called Return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And we just assumed that it was going to come out, and it didn't for a very long time.
Well, I
I
think you
I
guys did
remember this
invite me, and I
too.
should have said yes.
I honestly I think you guys invited me and I like couldn't go because I was out of town or something. Like it was
I don't
something
know, but
like I saw it and I remember the ad in the paper, like the tiny ad with the one theater, and being like, man, I hope I get to see that. It
well,
just didn't.
yeah,
For you.
we had no idea what was going on behind the scenes with it. We just were like, anticipating it coming out like any other movie, and then it came out, and then we went to see
Well, it
it.
didn't,
And
did it?
well, I mean, we didn't know at the time that it was one of very few theaters that in the whole country that even got it.
Do you know
23.
what happened with a
What?
re-edit?
23. That's how many theaters got
It
it.
came out in 23 theaters?
23 theaters.
Don't look at the money it made, but I'm curious if you are aware of seeing a different edit. It seems like when it came out a few years later under a different title, it had been re-edited, which I don't know if that's a light thing or Mark, do you want to answer that first?
I first saw this because friend of the podcast Phil let me borrow the DVD. He was like, "Man, I got this. I was surprised how good it was." And I was like, "Yes, I agree." I believe the DVD version I saw had a lot more at the beginning with the prom and stuff
Don't need that.
because, well, I mean, it didn't hurt it.
It
It's just
didn't hurt
felt
it, but I
like
don't need
it
it.
felt like the version I saw that illegally was like they just got really thrown. Just started with them just driving in the car and kind of
Oh, I
like
got
they
a little
just
more
found him in the
prom.
car smoking weed. Okay,
Okay, maybe I got the prom version.
maybe you got the long version.
I
Hmm.
don't think I got a little bit of prom, but not much.
Yeah, I
I did.
agree
I
with you.
never saw inside the prom.
Right.
There
Hmm.
I
probably
saw
was
her
no inside the
outside
prom.
bitching about Barry,
Sounds
basically.
like a bad reality show inside the prom. So, Luke, we're all just like gushing effusively over this movie already. How did you feel watching it?
So I came into it basically. This is one of those infamous bad films. Like I'd seen like review marathons of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then they get to this one and shit all over it, basically. Um, my feeling on it is like it feels like it's almost three different good films,
Hmm.
but it doesn't quite do any of it. Because like it's not a raw horror experience like the original. And then it tries to do like a weird, actually they're working for higher powers cabin in the woods thing, but doesn't really do it. And then at times it feels like a comedy, but it's not quite funny enough. So it's
See,
just like if
I,
they'd picked a lane, I think it could have been great.
I like this better than Cabin in the Woods because it was supposed to be a comedy. It
Mm,
is a comedy. It is a comedy, but it's also like a meta movie. But it's a
mm.
meta movie that refuses to wink or blink or flinch. Which
That is fair. I will
that's
give you that.
that's why it failed. It's
Mm.
because people
Well, they also
people
didn't
like
release it properly.
well, yeah, but so many reviews of it are like, this is almost a comedy. If you smoke enough weed, you'll laugh at it. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. It is just like an extremely dry comedy with a bunch of screaming in it, which is a weird, I mean, that's for me personally,
Mm.
like my kind of thing. But
Just in terms of
yeah.
the reviews, I was looking and on Rotten Tomatoes, yeah, it's whatever, that 15 or whatever. On Metacritic it's about 50. It does have good reviews. Some people did get it. And
Mm.
I like most things about this film. The thing I don't like is I really hate, torture porn horror, and this does feel like it's seeding that a little, which I don't like. But, in 1994 or 3 when they filmed it, I don't know. It's just like
I
weird
mean,
and
I mean,
hardcore.
if it's that, it's the most mild example of that.
It is the most mild example. I just feel like it's maybe one of the first major examples because it's different than the slasher films thing. I
yeah,
think.
it is the least violent Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. There's like sort of the latest one actually had a chainsaw massacre in it, which people were like, wow, it has a text, because the first one, I mean, Luke, when was the last time you watched the first one? Because like
Oh, at least 10, 15 years ago.
it's one of those things where in your head it feels like a really violent thing, but it's like such a
I
vibe
don't
and
remember it
such
being a
a
violent thing. I remember it being a really
yeah.
tense thing.
Yeah, it's just a lot of tension and a lot of, a vibes, but bad vibes.
Oh,
Hmm.
But it's I think it's great. I mean, I love it. I think it's an absolute classic, one of the best movies I've ever seen. But um, Andrew, I want to know how you felt about this when you first saw it, and like what's your ranking of like give me some Texas Chainsaw feelings in
You want a
general.
ranking of the franchise?
Or I don't know, how do you feel about this, how it fits in the franchise, and how do you I
Oh,
know
I
there's a
like
lot
what
of extra ones.
Yeah, no, I like watching this with the first one because I find the first one to be hilarious. And I know that the writer of the first one also wrote this.
And he
And
directed
so
it.
yeah, yeah. So it was nice to see how the folks that created Texas Chainsaw Massacre, what they would do if given the chance to come back to it. And all the bizarre stuff that those other movies seem to kind of like force themselves into doing, this one does naturally. And so
Yeah,
I just, yeah, so that I like that. And this also has my favorite Leatherface.
I love this Leatherface.
Oh yeah.
He tragically died like really soon after this came out.
Yeah, he was pretty
He
young.
was
You can only
uh,
twirl a chainsaw wildly in a field for so long.
he was a queer actor, so it's like I don't know, okay for him to be in drag, I guess.
Yeah, no,
If you could frame
he
it like
really
that.
expanded on the like the fancy lady character. I don't know what fans of the series call it, but in the original Texas Chainsaw, it's not super obvious, but they did try to do kind of a cross-dressed thing with Leatherface, with that lipstick and stuff. And I love how they were able to come back and like really push that forward in this.
So what's
You
your
know
number
how
one chainsaw?
Um, well, for the longest time I said it was this, and I really do love the most recent one that Netflix made. That Massacre is wonderful. I'm also a big fan of the 2003 remake that Daniel Pearl, the original cinematographer, like came back and shot it when he heard they were remaking it, and seeing all the awesome stuff. I mean, imagine being a low budget filmmaker and being like, oh, now that you're a professional and we got millions of dollars, you want to come do it again? That must have been a trip. So yeah, I'd say my top three are what did we agree this was called? The Next Generation, followed by the Netflix, followed by the Netflix, followed by the 2003 remake. That's like top three.
That's why we bring Andrew on for.
Mark asked me for my
No one
ranking.
else on
I
earth gives that ranking.
before you
Probably
give
not Luke.
before you give your ranking, Matt, I just want to say like my history with the franchise is that I didn't see two until not too long ago, right? I guess whatever, 10 years ago.
Oh, I love
Which
to.
it is very good. It is like this kind of matches like the fun wackiness level of it, but that's
Yeah.
more of like a road trip murder cannibalism movie.
Mm.
I did not see three until I decided I was going to watch it before doing this episode, and I really thought it was boring, and I didn't make it through the whole thing, unfortunately. It seemed just kind of like a more serious version of the first movie, but not as good looking.
Yeah, the director really didn't have control in the end of that movie. It was completely recut, and
Uh,
he got screwed up. That was Jeff Burr, who passed away last year, from Dalton, Georgia,
oh
who directed
man,
part three.
I got family in Dalton, Georgia. Maybe he was related to me. Sorry.
Possible. He was a great guy. He made a Whisper to a Scream with Vincent Price, Eddie
Oh,
Presley. A lot of really good ones.
neat.
One of the Puppet Masters, I think maybe two or three.
Oh man. And the other one I saw was, I believe, just called Texas Chainsaw, which was like
So there was no
2013,
massacre.
and it wasn't great. There's a plot twist where the protagonist finds out that she actually is in the Sawyer family, and she just like helps Leatherface kill a bunch of people at the end,
Oh, that was the
which is
3D one.
was it 3D? Okay.
It was released in 3D. We went to a preview screening, and there's like a part where Leatherface runs into a carnival or a fair with a running chainsaw and doesn't even nick anybody. I'm like, you see him run
Yeah.
past a fun house, and you're like, opportunity,
Yeah,
opportunity.
it
Imagine
wasn't
Leatherface going wild in a fun house.
Leatherface
there
throws the
was
chainsaw at the camera, right? That has to happen to
I
3D,
think that
right?
does happen,
Of
or at
course
least
it
That one
she
has
happens.
throws
got
it.
the
She throws
infamous
it
"Do
to
your
him,
thing,
and
cuz"
it's
line.
yes, exactly. But also, there's a scene in the middle where she's looking up things in the library that we, the audience, already know, and it's really long and drawn out, and it's playing that music. It's like do do do, and you see the text go across the screen, and that takes
Not
like
in my
we
top
laughed
five.
we laughed so much in the theater. But also, I'm gonna say the remake, and what was it, a prequel to a remake that came out after
Yeah,
the
the
remake?
beginning. That's a dope.
I
That's
thought
a really good one.
those were both good. They're both
Yeah.
very solid.
And Leatherface is better than most people say. The one with Lily Taylor.
That I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, Stephen Dorff and Lily Taylor. It's a
There's
That's the
so
one that's
many.
also called 3, right?
yeah,
No, that's the
Leatherface
one I
was
was
in
talking
it.
about
3
earlier.
was also called Leatherface, I think.
True,
That's what I
but
was
they
talking
did
about
later a
earlier.
Leatherface. There's like
Okay.
two.
Yeah.
There's like two kind of timelines. You have all the offshoots of the
Yeah.
remake, and then you have the offshoots of the original.
I've
This
seen
is
the
Disney.
original of this,
2017.
so
Yeah,
Well, you're doing pretty good if you've seen those stuff. It's a weird thing like Night of the Living Dead where it's like technically a franchise, but it's just been all over the place and owned by a million different people. I'm
yeah. If
sorry,
you're
Matt.
looking for continuity, you'll give yourself
No.
seizures.
It all happened. That's how you square it.
That's
Because
true.
you see the final girl from the first movie on a stretcher in this like it all
Mhm.
happened at the same time.
Right.
Sorry, Matt, I cut
Texas,
you
man,
off
this stuff just goes on, right?
Mm.
Yeah, basically.
All
Probably
right, all
more than
right, all
ever
right.
now. Yeah. Matt, you were gonna give your ranking.
This is the first time I've watched a Texas Chainsaw movie.
Okay,
I've
well, that's
never
number
seen
one
one
then.
until last night. This is number one for
Hey,
me.
that's a great. You know what? You
I've seen
could do a lot
Psycho.
worse.
I've seen The Sadist with Archibald Jr., but just I
Watch
guess
that and Badlands together.
yeah,
When we
it's
watched The Omen for that other podcast, that was your first time seeing that, right?
correct.
Well,
The
yeah,
Omen is great.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the first one fits in with that in that it's like elevated before anybody knew how to call something elevated. Like
Mm.
and John Larroquette does the opening narration, and he did it in exchange for a bag of weed.
All right.
I
This
didn't know
one
that.
just this one, my first note for this movie is I don't need a full damn history lesson, which seems like a good segue for me giving the summary.
Okay.
It's prom night. After some teenage hijinks, Barry, Heather, Jenny, and Sean collide with a car on a random dirt road, and the driver of the other car dies. Sean stays behind while the others look for help. Professional Psycho Vilmer, current patriarch of the Texas Chainsaw family. Sorry, you say Walker family? So that's new
Sawyer.
information to me. Sawyer. See, I got it wrong.
Get it? Saw.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Saw
how witty
your
of them.
ass
I'll
off.
Sawyer. I'm gonna Sawyer.
Anyway, he finds Sean and runs over him for a while. Heather is beaten to death's door and thrown in a rusty freezer, while Barry is beaten to death by professional monster Leatherface, but with a sledgehammer, not a chainsaw. The chainsaw is reserved for a berserker run after Jenny. Jenny tries to find solace from insurance peddler Darla, but it turns out she is part of the family, and Jenny ends up back at the house for a dinner of the dead. The family's weird Illuminati funder shows up and is angry that Vilmer is kind of screwing around with these kids and not quite bringing the true horror. Vilmer does not like this performance review and flies into a murderous rage, which ends with him dying. Leatherface, of course, needs little excuse to follow suit and apparently now lives in a field wildly twirling around a chainsaw. Jenny ends up in a car with a weird secret society guy who drives her to a hospital. Well, the chauffeur drives her to a hospital, I should say. Okay, did that sound correct? That's one of those ones where I'm
Yeah.
like, am I getting this correct as I'm writing it,
Yeah.
You probably didn't have to put that much detail in it, honestly.
Okay, maybe not.
But it was
The title
sounded
card
right.
had so much detail, right? I had to do that. So,
Mhm.
I did make a note because I wrote 30 minutes in, still no chainsaw. 38 minutes, first chainsaw. I made a time code on that. 38
I'm
minutes to a chainsaw.
pretty sure the original movie you don't see a chainsaw for like longer than that.
Yeah, but that's the
Okay.
70s.
Here we have the official running times. The Blu-ray from Scream Factory lists the theatrical cut in high definition and the director's cut in standard definition. So your theatrical cut is 87 minutes, director's cut 94.
Okay, I
Significant
saw
difference
I
there.
saw a theatrical cut, just to be clear. Mine was definitely under. Or was that when I was watching Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles? That was 128. I might be confusing
What?
things.
Did
Hmm.
Crocodile Dundee have a chainsaw in it?
Nobody had a crocodile and he had a knife.
Did he use a crocodile like a chainsaw?
He used a
And he
knife
went,
like a chainsaw.
Okay.
See, now you're making me think of Eaten Alive. It was Toby Hooper's movie with the alligator that was outside the motel.
I remember the very cheap looking DVD box for that.
It's a great movie. If you like the
I'm putting that
original
on my
Texas
list.
Chainsaw,
I don't
it
know
would,
if I do.
yeah, you should watch it like right after the original Texas Chainsaw. It's fantastic. Like William Finley's in it from Phantom of the Paradise.
Ooh.
Uh,
Yeah,
and
man, I'm
that's all I
putting it
need to
on.
say, really.
I just rewatched
I
Poltergeist a few
didn't.
months ago, which may or may not have been directed by Tobe Hooper, right? So
Yeah, no one will ever
I
know.
I did I saw a Toby Hooper movie like last year. What was the fun? Was it called Funhouse?
it
Was
could
it
have
just
been.
like at a carnival thing? Do you know what I'm talking about, Andrew?
Yeah,
I'm like asking Andrew
I
directly.
no, no, it's I've seen everything that he made. I
Yeah, it
cannot
is called
remember the name of
Funhouse.
it. Yeah.
It's called Funhouse. It has like a freak
That's weird
guy.
because he made a movie called The Funhouse in the 80s. It was a lot better. Oh, are you talking about like
I'm
an
talking
I
about the
older
remember the
movie?
'80s
Funhouse.
one. Yeah.
Oh, Funhouse is a classic, dude. I
Yeah.
thought he made some later era movie with the same title because he did do a remake of Toolbox Murders with Angela Bettis from the movie May, and it's great.
Hmm, I haven't
So,
seen that.
Toolbox.
Andrew, direct question to you. I'm curious. The first half of this movie in particular, I definitely was like, I feel like this is sort of like the DNA for the movies you make. I just feel like you
Uh,
have the first half of this just had a very vibe of stuff that I feel like you're going for.
yeah. Well, for those who are listening, my hobby is amateur filmmaking and has been on and off since I was a kid, but steadily for the last 20 some odd years. And yeah, this is we just did a movie called Cheerleader Reunion, which has a chainsaw killer in it, who's a cheerleader with a skin mask on. So yeah, absolutely.
But that was just my take, having only being this my first Texas Chainsaw, and just watching it last night, I was like, this seems to be kind of the DNA for movies I've done the music for, you know?
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly. And it's the weirdness, the cannibal families. I'm about to do another one called Sluts for Satan. That's kind of like a combination of Psycho Vixens and Cannibal Sisters and Booty Meat. Like a lot of, the ones that I've done with, they involve like flesh eating and stuff like that. And so, um, yeah, I I love them. It's not my favorite horror franchise. That would be Final Destination, but it's definitely one that I enjoy most of.
Yeah, I feel like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Child's Play, and Final Destination are like the big three with the best hit rate for me personally. I
Nope, I
mean,
haven't changed since the fourth grade. These are just within arm's reach.
the higher heights, sure, but like I just, to me it's like the lows are low. Anyway, what the hell was I gonna say?
I don't know what the hell are you gonna
Oh,
say.
People Under the Stairs. This reminds me of People Under the Stairs.
Yeah.
It's like that 90s thing where movies could be funny, but also I guess it's kind of Evil Dead 2 DNA, where I think a lot of people saw Evil Dead 2 and were like, yeah, you can make a funny horror movie without it being a comedy,
Yeah, and this was
which I
also during the time where in American horror movies, the rating system was really kind of frowning on a lot of gore and a lot of things were getting needlessly cut. A good example in Scream, they made them take a few seconds off of guts that were coming down someone's leg. Nothing that they would do
Mhm.
now. But I think as a result of that, you got a lot of weirder stuff
I was about to say the
because they
tone of
couldn't
this
be
is so
gore.
nasty, you don't really need the gore so much.
Well, yeah, but that's what I mean. I think they got very creative, and again, original Texas Chainsaw not gory either, and I think they kind of followed that as well.
I mean,
But it just I think it's unfairly maligned, and I don't know if we're gonna just like address that later. But I definitely have a story that relates to that, and pissed me off about like
uh,
all the leather faces other than Robert Jacks.
I think
I'm
it does have partly to do just with the weird fact that they got these two A-listers right before they became A-listers and then put out after, and
Right.
that just it's like
And them not wanting it to come out or like delaying it
well,
always, that's never a good
here's the thing.
sign.
McConaughey's great in this, but that is not a performance that you want to put in front of the public when you're trying to build a guy up to be an A-lister, right? Like it's
Well,
just
no, because
such
it's
a nasty performance. Good, but nasty.
yeah. Because didn't did I mean he must have made Dazed and Confused right after this or right before this around
Right
the same time.
before, it seemed he made Dazed and Confused and pretty much immediately went to doing
So
this.
that movie comes out and we all went to the drive-in to see it. Were you there with us?
I
Um,
was not. That's another one I remember
yeah.
being invited to, but having
We
probably
all we
being
all
two
had to
years younger than
hide
everyone else.
because
Yeah.
the radio stations were only letting two people in a car go to this free screen the preview screening of it at the North 85 Twin. And so like we all hid in the back of Dan's van. And I can remember when Dan's the same one who I saw this movie with when it was in theaters. I remember he and John DeLoach were up in the front and they're like how many of you are there? And Dan goes, no, John goes, just us. Of course, there's like, 5 or 6 of us under a blanket back there.
Maybe you just took. Now I'm like, was I there? That's maybe you just told me a story before. Luke,
I've
I'm
Yeah.
heard the
curious what
story.
the Texas Chainsaw footprint is in the UK.
Like people are aware. I think people are just like aware of the name and of
Mm.
Leatherface, because definitely the impression like normal people have is, full chainsaw massacring, which mostly doesn't happen in the films. I think it's kind of the opposite of Wicker Man, where Wicker Man doesn't work in America because it's so British, and this is so American, right? Britain's not big enough that you can be that lost
Right.
as you are in Texas.
Makes
I
sense.
mean, they're not in this film that lost because they're just like a short drive from their own prom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a 5 minute drive. They just happen to go on the dirt roads, like very
Yeah, it's
quickly.
not like because the original it's like a road trip, right? So it's completely
But that's the
alien
way
territory
Athens
for them.
was when we first moved there,
Mm,
wasn't it, Matt? Because like we were on our way, we were going to see something. I don't know if it was a movie or like a oh, it was John Waters. And we were going to see John Waters at the Tate Center, and I took a wrong turn and quickly was seeing cows and just these vast. When I was like, "Oh God, I hate Athens!" Like, where are we?
No,
Well,
I remember. I think maybe we were looking for band members or something, and we drove out to some bizarre trailer about 20 miles out of Athens. And even me, having not seen this movie, was like, "Gee, did we almost step into like a Texas Chainsaw situation?"
Oh
You
my
know?
God, if you're a kid that's from the suburbs and you've never been out in the country before, and anything that doesn't go to that Marta didn't go to, we just assumed was. But I had a great deal of a great deal of phobia because we'd not only seen this, but The Hills Have Eyes, and
well,
just like so many horror movies begin where everybody's like taking a trip and the car breaks down, and then next thing you know, you're barbecue.
2000 Maniacs, which we all talked about, was like kind of is tied directly to like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre had this baked into it as well, where there's
Oh
the
yeah.
paranoia of Uranus. I mean, okay, maybe it's not as much baked into this because a lot of this is just nobody cares and the Illuminati is gonna lick your face, but
Oh, that's
there,
right.
there but there's always like the small town America thing where it's a small club and you ain't in it, like you're
Yeah.
not safe. You're not safe somewhere where it's like it might just be really easy to rig the whole system.
It's
And
almost like
Yeah, because
1993 is just too early to bake that into the movie because, yeah,
I don't know, but
but
I
if
mean that was baked in 2000 Maniacs from 1964.
yeah,
I mean,
not
okay,
not
those
just
ghosts, but
yeah,
still
yeah.
spoiler,
yeah,
but
but
still.
you had and after that first one, you had fans of this franchise seeing part two, which still dealt with that out of the way scary thing, and then part three, same, and then you get to four, and these kids are like, "Oh, this woman is helping them." There's no indication right away that they're going to encounter somebody frightening. So it was a good misdirect. It's one of my things I like about it.
I
And
guess
there's
just
boobs.
yeah, that was a very quick flash. I actually went back not because I was horny, because I was like, was that a plastic model? Which maybe she just took some work done, but
Oh
like they
gosh, I
didn't.
think you looked longer than I did then.
No, I was like, I feel like I was like, was that a prosthetic breast? Which I don't think
So
it
I did a
was.
screenshot and stared at it
I did a
in
screenshot and
4K.
stared at it for 4 hours, 4K for
Could have
four
been a
hours.
double. I'm not really sure.
Um,
but but yeah, paranoia. It's very interesting how paranoia is tied directly in with small southern towns,
Hmm.
and it
yeah.
makes a lot of sense. And yeah, it's not as scary that you don't know where you are, but it's scary that you won't find your way out.
I mean,
Yeah.
Japan certainly doesn't have that. Luke and I live in the quote unquote countryside, but I don't think you guys would agree. And Mark, you've been here. You know where I live,
Oh,
so.
I know
There's
where you
there's a
live.
different kind of creepy when you get lost in one of the little villages around here at night, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Then it's more
ghosts,
like
right?
ghosts, or it's going to be
Yeah,
ghosts. Yeah,
and
because
also
there's
just like
nobody
completely
there.
dead
Okay.
town,
Yeah,
and also
and
like bears.
Mm.
that would be weird to be attacked by a bear in a dead Japanese town. I gotta put
Hmm.
that on my to-do list or bucket list.
It just makes me think of beware the moors, stick to the road. God help you.
Hey Luke,
Yeah.
here's a weird thought I came across last week that the country bears or grizzly man that are possibly break down, make people too comfortable with bears, right? Like we're
You need
breaking down the boundary between us and bears
Um,
that can
do
kill us.
you? I
do
regularly watch those videos of Russian guys just like hugging bears and scratching them like they're big dogs. So
they're so
I
good.
have definitely not got the appropriate
Oh,
amount of
I'll
fear
bring
about bears.
if the conversation continues, I'll bring up one of those videos.
Yeah, we should do a cut of Grizzly Man Country Bears like interspersed.
That's great.
Where he's like, you must never see this footage, and then it's just cut to that. Yeah.
God. Yeah, I remember Herzog's narration of on everything.
Yeah.
And now I will make a joke.
Ah,
I
how
make
we
joke.
laugh. Ah.
Jokes, the last refuge of a coward. Um, anyway, so Matthew McConaughey, um, he was trying out for like one of the protagonists, and then he was about to just leave. He was like, "Hey, why don't I read for this psychopath?" And he just knocked it out of the park. Apparently, there's real like you don't even have to know that these people are famous, and I would say that like really most of the rest of the cast is like holding their own against these guys. Apparently, the lady who plays Darla, who is the whatever Matthew McConaughey's girlfriend,
Family member.
cohort.
I wrote family member in my
She
summary.
and I was reading up on this, and she and somebody else were like in just like constantly acting in like the Austin scene. So they got a couple of like really like they kind of I feel like they really did a great job casting this. And
Yeah.
when they weren't good, like the people in the RV, it was very funny.
I actually thought it was yeah, Matthew and I sticks out. Renee Zellweger, I was like I felt like she didn't quite have the zing she has in some of her better roles in this, you know.
She was good
Well,
though,
she
man.
was
She was doing the Scream Queen thing. I'm just like
she
she
Oh
was
just
yeah.
seemed to be
doing
doing more than
stunts.
that where yeah, oh,
Like
physically,
she
sure.
did everything. Like she did everything in this, and it's like kind of. It is speculated that's the main reason why this was kind of buried, and I don't think that's true. It sounds like it was probably somebody's agent or
Yeah,
somebody's
that's what I always heard.
agents.
Yeah.
Like I
But
think her star power is in Dazed and Confused, even though she's barely in it, right? But I felt like her star power didn't shine so much.
wait, she was in Dazed and Confused?
Briefly,
A
um,
small role. Yeah. A
Weird.
small part.
but in that one she kind of pops. In this one, it's like, oh, she's doing the screen queen thing. It's fine. Whereas McConaughey kind of pops. Again, he gets a signature line. You know?
I I look at it like she was literally just like physically taxed beyond like any reasonable amount but by this role, and it was like her second acting role. So I
Yeah.
think I
Again, I'm
kind of
not saying
like
she did a bad job. I'm saying she was
yeah.
able to maybe 2%. How much percent more would push it into Jamie Lee Curtis territory? You know, then this would have like maybe even like been like, you know, would that have been the
I don't know,
special
but
sauce to make this movie more successful? Is
I
what I
mean
guess
the
I'm saying.
part where Leatherface was chasing her across like the roof and she was
Mm.
basically like climbing antennas and he was chainsawing bricks off of the chimney and stuff like
Like if I was watching
that
an
was
80s slasher,
nuts.
if I was watching an 80s slasher, I'd be like, this actress is great, right? I'm just comparing
Yeah.
it to the fact that she's in like
Okay.
A-list movies, right? And I don't quite see that here.
Luke, would you rather hear her do a British accent as Bridget Jones than this?
Um, to be fair, I didn't know that she wasn't British.
Oh,
Interesting.
okay.
Oh
So
That's
man,
that's
that's
great.
a
a
plot
big
twist.
compliment for an American actor.
From
Ooh,
Texas.
Crap.
tag her when you post this, man. She'll love to hear that.
But also, I haven't watched those films since like 2002. So
Mm.
I haven't seen a one.
I
I
don't know if I have seen one all the way through, but they were everywhere in the UK at
Okay.
that point
I
in
found
time.
one real
So
cheap and I got it because I was like, oh, my wife like, I stereotype my wife and she's like, no, I hate those movies. So I was like, okay, well, 69 cents
I
wasted. That's fine. 100
I
yen. That's six. I like to equate that to 69 cents because it's funny that way.
It is
I think
funny.
the first
I
thing I
agree.
saw her in was Jerry Maguire, and I don't think I liked that. It wasn't her fault, but I don't think I liked that movie.
I
it
have to
is
rewatch it
quite a
someday.
boring film.
Okay, maybe I don't need to rewatch it.
Not a Cameron Crowe person, really.
Mm. There are camera crew movies I really like, but I don't know if I like that one. But I haven't seen it since what, 97, so yeah, but you guys aren't selling me on it at the moment, so.
I mean,
Not
I'm
even a
sorry
real
if you hold a
pro.
boombox up outside somebody's window, you're a sex pest and you should be put in jail.
Yeah, I
It's
never saw
true.
that movie to be honest.
Just like everyone in
I
Texas
recently
Chainsaw
watched it.
Massacre.
I like
Yeah.
Almost
Yeah.
Famous and We Bought a Zoo. That's what I usually think of for Cameron Crowe if we're trying
Uh,
to spell it out. I haven't seen
did they?
Elizabethtown, so We Bought a
Ooh,
Zoo and the other one I just said. Those are the ones I'm thinking of.
Almost Famous. Almost Famous was okay, even though I feel like it was a little bit like, well, the only person who drugs affect is the person who's not in the band, which was kind of a bad message
Mm,
because every
If
time
if
I've
you're
owned,
rock and roll enough, you can handle drugs, Mark.
yeah, you gotta build up your tolerance.
yeah, I'll tell that to all my dead friends, all 100. There's like a couple, but still, um, yeah,
All right.
don't do drugs
You
anyway.
can't gotcha me, Mark. That wasn't a real opinion I was sharing.
Well, I also said a 100, which I don't think I even know. I've known 100 people in a band, so that's not fair.
There's a reality show in Japan called like Could You Summon 100 Friends? And it's like you just have to get 100 people to show up, but you can't tell them it's for a show.
Oh
And I was
man,
like, man, I don't like Mercy could probably pull it off in Mexico. I couldn't do that anywhere.
That would stress me out.
if I could get someone from anyone in the world, I could probably do it. But like, sorry, anywhere in the world, but probably not entirely from Atlanta. Even though I guess most people would be from Atlanta.
Mm.
Um, but also they have to show up. Like when you're in your 40s, your friends don't show up anymore. I
Yeah,
mean,
they want to stay at
sometimes,
home. Or they get lazy.
yeah, or they have babies or something or
Mm.
careers
If they bring the baby, that baby can be your friend.
or like 5 dogs.
The baby can be +1. You get extra numbers that way, so it's
They
easier.
should all bring their dogs. I think that would be the
The
best. They can
dogs
bring their
don't
babies
count.
too.
The dog is not your friend. That is a pet.
No, the dog is my
The dog
friend.
doesn't count. Why am I making the
False.
rules for a show I haven't watched? That Luke just introduced to
No, that's the
me.
American reboot. Is dogs? It's called Dogs Are Okay.
You have to get 100 dogs together that are your
Yes,
friends.
100
Okay.
dogs.
And they have to be your friends. Like you can't just get rando dogs. You have to get dogs that
They
you're
can't.
friends with.
Yeah, none of the dogs can hate you.
How about 100 trees that are your friends? You have to get 100 trees that are your friends together.
I
I
could
don't even like
chainsaw.
100 people. I
I
bet you I only
You
really
know
like about
what?
50 people.
I'm gonna be honest. Liking 100 people or more than 100 people is exhausting, and I don't recommend it to anybody.
Hmm.
You heard it from
Yeah.
me,
Okay.
Mister
Be a
Mister
misanthrope.
Mister Popular. I'm pretty tired, and you know how much it makes me sad when I have to be like tell somebody that I haven't seen in a long time. I've already made plans with someone else on the exact same day. I don't like it. That
Hmm.
sucks. It's a bad feeling. I don't know. But I'm not gonna like get rid of it's too late now. I'm not gonna get rid of anybody. Like why would I do that? Why would I unfriend anybody?
Oh God,
I
I
don't
keep
want
my Facebook friend count at 666. So every time somebody adds, I add someone, I have to take someone off.
I can support that until
Yeah.
you take me off.
well my Facebook got
Yo,
deleted, so some people just didn't make it over because they didn't accept my refriend request. Probably
Hmm.
because they
Their
thought I was a
opinions had
bot.
shifted. Yeah.
Maybe their
Uh,
opinions had shifted. I don't know.
oh, back to the movie a little bit. The first 10 minutes had the most 1994 haircuts ever. They do get screwed up at the 15-minute mark. After 15 minutes, we don't get any of those haircuts anymore. But the first 15 minutes, we definitely do. So I was like, I've had at least three of these bad haircuts on the guy's side at various points in my life.
oh man, just went
Especially
from one
Sean
ex.
had the 90s haircut.
And I know I rocked
The
it for at
blonde
least. Yeah,
trims,
I
yeah.
went. Andrew, I think just sent me a photo of that one actually, with me having that one.
Oh, I feel like I went from one extreme to the other.
You did. That's because you want to change your image because you're in a band and it's like this looks one way and I want to look another way now.
I did it to see what my girlfriend would do. Shave
Mm.
my head.
You did have a quick in between period. I remember though, where you did just shave around the back and sides, but kept it long on the top.
That was because I was too big of a coward to actually
Mm.
just
It was a short
take all.
period, to be fair.
Yep.
I was the bass player. I'm standing behind him. I can easily see this. So yeah, yeah, haircuts. What else? I had two other real dumb notes I was just gonna read. Leatherface is weirdly sneaky at first, like a ninja or something. Like Leatherface is just like right behind somebody.
That was the bit where I was like, oh wait, this is a comedy.
Okay, maybe, yeah. And I'm going out of my way to say Leatherface every time because I don't know what pronoun
Yeah.
Leatherface would want.
Leatherface, yeah, Leatherface is usually sneaky. That's like the main like horror part of your average Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie is there are dead people at the dinner table, but also grandpa who looks dead but is not, and then
Hmm.
also Leatherface will show up when you least expect them.
And I
Yep.
definitely, again, this is the first time I've actually watched one of these movies, but I definitely felt the propulsive missile energy of a Leatherface Berserker run. They have basically two, right? One in the middle when you're like, when you are like, wait, this is halfway through. Where the hell is this movie going? This could be the climax.
I like it that if you never watch another Texas Chainsaw, I like it that this is the one you saw because it's my favorite.
Okay, maybe. It depends on what day it is, as you said earlier.
Well,
Um,
it's basically Kim Henkel who directed and wrote this and wrote the first movie, which is it's pretty weird to get something like that. Somebody getting to make the same thing 20 years apart, or a predecessor or successor 20 years later. But he said something about it being like a commentary on horror, basically. Like
Sure.
he's sort of I think that part of this movie is he's just kind of frustrated at. I mean, there have been two Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies that he wasn't really involved with, so he's already like things are kind of out of his control, and this kind of feels like a commentary on that, like because someone literally shows up at the end and apologizes to the main character for
Mhm.
things not being scary enough, which is very funny.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's a good meta joke. New Nightmare is like what, 2 years after this, right?
Yeah.
Three, I think. Yeah,
Why
pretty
don't I
close.
just check the discs that are right here where I could look at the date?
It was 94.
Oh yeah, it was 94. Well, damn, same year.
Oh
Yep.
yeah. Okay. I
Let's.
guess this is when people were getting meta then, yeah.
Well,
I like this better because that one was more serious. I'd rather
I
it be
I'd have to rewatch
sillier.
it because I know you're not a biggest fan of that one. I did quite like it when it
Yeah.
came out, I remember. And I didn't like Scream as much because I was like I liked New Nightmare better than Scream just because I'm a
oh,
Freddy
same.
fan. Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
also
same.
say I like New Nightmare better than Scream.
Okay.
But I like Clown in a Cornfield better than Scream.
Um, I haven't seen that yet, but
It's surprisingly good.
it looked promising. But
Yeah.
yeah, the main issue I had with New Nightmare is that Freddy is not Freddy. So it was kind of like when you're saying that the thing that you're making is not real, but you're making a movie, so nothing is real, so you can do anything you want. So
Hey, if a
why
guy's
make a movie
slashing with a
about how
razor
your
glove,
other
a guy is slashing with a razor glove.
sure, but it's a demon or something. Like I'm sorry, a demon taking the form of something everyone is scared of is not as interesting to me as a scary whatever
See,
child
I
predator
forgot
man.
about all that shit. I should remember like in the movie. Okay, but now that you're saying it, yes, I remember. But yeah.
And the idea that I think the idea is that man or humans make the best villains, and that didn't have a human villain in it.
Hmm. Okay, I get where you're coming from. But that's when I will. Well, I can easily review it sitting right next to me. Um,
Hmm.
So is this the one that has the guy that says all those quotes all the time?
yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
remember if he was
he
in
was very.
3 or 4. What did y'all like him?
I love him. He's
He
very. I mean, he's terrible, but I love him.
I
right.
love him because the other characters acknowledge that he's really annoying.
Yes, he fits
If
into
they,
the
if they
movie. I'll say
acted
that.
like he was cool and smart, I would hate him. But everyone
Yeah.
else is so done with his shit immediately that he's great.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, they
I
And,
they
that
they
sounds like
just
the right
ignore
take.
him most of the time.
yeah, and the government guy with all the crazy stuff on his chest, he beat the Frighteners by what, a year? When Jeffrey Combs makes that reveal,
Oh
the
yeah,
FBI
yeah.
guy.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
we could look up that date too if we want. But yes,
Yeah,
this is definitely before that. I'm not sure about release date, but as far as making it, yeah.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, great minds and whatnot. So, briefly, I want to mention the Leatherface reunion panel that I went to at a horror convention probably 12 years ago.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, because I remember it was before my daughter was born. So at that time, Gunnar Hansen was still alive. So you had Gunnar Hansen, you had Bill Johnson, I believe, from part two. You had Ari Mayaloff from part three, and you had, I think, is it Ken Kurtzinger that plays him in the remake? Whoever played him in the
Oh,
remake. So all four of these guys are there. And when they bring up, I can't remember if an audience member brings it up, but the idea was all of the leather faces at the time, except Robert Jacks, who at the time none of us knew had died.
hmm.
Um, so the guys are, telling stories about Leatherface, reminiscing this, that. It's very funny. The fans are eating everything up. And then when someone mentions part four, all of the Leatherfaces just commence to shitting on this movie and shitting on the guy that played it. I don't think they knew he was dead either. But when I found out later that Robert Jacks from this movie we're talking about tonight was dead when they were doing that, he was gay and dead, like it's like
Yeah.
double punch down.
Hmm.
I lost so much respect for all of those guys. And that probably honestly makes me even more so enjoy Robert Jacks's performance as Leatherface more than anyone else's. Not just because I happen to love the divine like influence that's happening here. Imagining Divine with a chainsaw makes me happy, but like, yeah, those guys doing that. I mean, I'm sitting in the audience listening to this, a total fan. Like, I loved this movie more than the ones those guys were in when I was sitting there. But to hear them
Yeah.
and then the audience just ate into it because the audience like, yeah, that one sucks. I'm sitting there feeling so alienated. I'm like, all right, great. But yeah, when I found out that he was, I mean, him being queer would be bad enough in terms of how badly they were tearing it apart, but also the fact that he was dead at that time. I would wager that if you were to bring that up to any of the, well, other than Gunnar Hansen, who couldn't give a shit because he's dead, they may have different feelings about that. I didn't like how they were just playing into, because if the audience had pushed back, like if there been a bunch of fans of this like me, I think it would have gone a little bit differently. But that's like a regrettable thing that not a lot of people know happened.
And
That's what
there,
happens to a lot of films on our quote unquote bad list. Is just they get the reputation for being bad, so people shit on them, and everyone joins in the fun,
Yeah.
and it's sort of people. 90% of the people having that opinion haven't seen the film.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and
yeah,
that's probably the case with some of the people in that audience. They just heard it was bad and never bothered.
and I was trying to figure out if Gunnar Hansen had some kind of like hurt feelings about not being recast in this, but I couldn't find anything. Like AI, like, as useless as AI is, it was like Gunnar Hansen did not return for Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation because he was not recast in the role of Leatherface. It's like,
That
okay,
sounds
thanks.
like an AI thing. The truth is that I
Don't
read
need
Gunnar
it.
Hansen's book, and there's a great documentary also, uh, like Dinner with Gunnar Hansen or something like that. But I did read his book, and the only thing he really talked about in terms of returning to the character was turning down the role of the truck driver at the end of the remake in 2003.
Ah,
He thought that was beneath him and didn't think it was worth the measly pay they were giving him, so he didn't do it. But I just, you know, I watched that movie, which I love it, and knowing that that could have been Gunnar Hansen at the end just would have been a jam, for the fans.
yeah. Well, yeah, I
Sucks.
think it's usually traditional for horror actors to just do throw in a little cameo just because your fans kind of I think your fans are maybe a more important part of your life and your career when you're like a star of a beloved horror franchise
Oh
than
yeah,
lots of other genres, if not all of
yeah.
them.
I spent a weekend in Cinema Wasteland when Gonzorific had a table, 2006 maybe. Yeah, no, 2009 in Ohio. It's a cult film convention, and the cast: Marilyn Burns, Gunnar Hansen, John Dugan, like pretty much is everybody who was alive at that point from that could make it. from that first Texas Chainsaw, they were at the table right next to us the whole weekend, and we actually got Lou Perryman's table, the guy that played the cowboy, the DJ's friend in part two, because he'd actually been murdered the week before, and so we got to have extra space because he had been murdered. Somebody came into his home and
Jeez.
stabbed him to death. Yeah, it was
Oh my
really awful.
God.
Yeah, that's from
Yeah.
part two. Man, I feel like I'm saying a bunch of bummer stuff. Y'all were hilarious.
It's,
It is a chainsaw massacre.
But I was gonna say Gunnar Hansen was a great guy, and so was Marilyn Burns. They were both great people.
Yeah, I mean, your feelings on that are definitely valid because there have been times when I'm at celebrity panels and I'm like watching the guys from Starship Troopers talk about how great the military is. So I'm like, this makes me sad. It makes me sad on an existential level.
Yeah,
but
No, Verhoeven wasn't there, was he?
never.
yeah, he had things. He's making more movies probably.
Hey, Luke, start that over again. You got your mute on.
Yeah, I know. It's just after I started. I haven't met that many like famous creators. Usually, when I do, they're kind of low key. Like I've met a bunch of Transformers comics writers, so like, you know, you can chat to them pretty intimately because they're not swamped with fans.
Gotcha.
And I met Shatner, and he was exactly how I wanted him to be.
Nice.
He didn't say one word to me, but he chatted up every single woman in the queue.
Shatner is a whole vibe, man. I treasure.
That's
the panel I
amazing,
saw.
Luke. Just to say you've been in the same breathing room as Shatner is awesome.
I know there's a Henry Rollins podcast where he's talking about his run-ins with Shatner because he became friends with Shatner for a few years and is explaining how weird. Yeah, he get invited to these like bizarre like like skybox parties at games and was just explaining how weird the Shatner vibe was. So this was a podcast from maybe 10 years ago. It's not a recent one.
Oh, it was a Henry and Heidi. I
Yes,
really
correct.
loved that show. That was that was really great.
Yeah, it's one of those. As far as this movie, Filth, I'm gonna call it Filth, but it wears it like a badge of honor, like a giant Filth brooch goes on this movie, right?
I mean, it's a filthy film.
It's not quite as filthy as you'd want, but yeah.
I think the vibe is so filthy, like it makes up for the fact that maybe it's not so gory.
I think Andrew would agree with me on this, where I think that basically cutting a person up with a chainsaw, even with like CGI, is very expensive. So there's almost never going to really be like a lot of chainsaw massacring in like anything, because you have to like render the body parts or you have to make a dummy with body parts.
Or
It's not like
kills.
that's low budget horror. Usually,
Oh my God, that movie.
Stab somebody. Oh, you didn't like Machete Kills?
No, dude,
Aside from
I'm
Mel
talking like
Gibson being-
that wasn't that CG gore out the wazoo.
it was
probably.
the CG has not aged well at all. I'm not talking about your memory of seeing it when it was new. I'm talking about did you watch it in the last year?
No, I have not watched it in the last year. Well,
Oh, so you don't remember Elon Musk shows up at the end?
Oh,
no, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I didn't either. It wasn't so great. Anyway, no, but no, I do agree with you, man. And you called it a filthy film. That's like so perfect.
I love it. I would watch it again anytime. It's I need to obtain a better looking version because I've only seen it on like 480 basically.
Yeah, this is I mean, this is awesome because yeah, even though the director's cut is in standard definition, at least they preserved it, because when y'all started talking about different versions, I was like, what? And then I look and here it is, I've got it.
Well, the DVD I first saw it on was definitely like really cheap looking DVD. I'm like, who got the rights to this and when, kind of a situation.
I was working at Video Warehouse in Athens when it finally came out on VHS, and yeah, and so I want to say it was the later 90s. I moved to Athens in 97, so it had to have been after that. So yeah, several years after the fact, being so excited and being on the phone with Dan telling him, we just got it, like really, really
VHS.
Yeah.
I mean, well,
Yo,
like listeners,
that was a big deal.
like listeners will know who've listened to this podcast a lot. I just forget to watch things for decades. So I just sort of somebody had to say, "Here, borrow this," for me to actually watch this, which like I wish I'd watched it earlier because I would have loved this when I was young and I love it when I'm old. So it's for all ages,
Yeah,
probably.
I'm just happy to like talk to another fan of it, honestly, because yeah, among like horror folks, it's not well liked. I feel like more people like it now, but I have so many queer friends who are huge horror fans, and this just hits in a really like yeah, in a really fun way that's like encapsulates camp, and it does kind of you can Mark you saying that thing about Kim Hinkle and as relates to slasher movies. I'm sitting here thinking like, man, imagine I started slashers by making Texas Chainsaw, and then I can't get money to make a movie for like decades, even though I'm the one that did it. What I would have to say when I finally did make a movie, you know?
Yeah, and that's like an incredible thing about this is that like love it or hate it, it does have things to say. It might not hit you over the head with them, but it's pretty interesting. Why is the Illuminati Irish? That's kind of interesting. But
Part of the
anyway,
Irish Illuminati.
I
Yeah.
I got a review here.
Illuminirish. You know what
Let
I
me-
thought of also? Somebody who mentioned David Lynch. Matt, was that you?
Me,
Uh, yeah, it's
Okay.
usually me, but I think it's Mark.
Mark. Okay. Well, okay. So Jack Nance in God, it was one of the later
Lost Highway.
David. Yeah, when he goes, you have not seen my dog. You picture him in your mind. That seemed like something that would come out of the mouth of that one guy. You know what I'm saying? The guy
Yeah,
in the family in this movie.
Just
yeah.
someone had some fun
I
writing some
am.
dialogue here.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
rewatching Twin Peaks now, and like the parts of Twin Peaks where it gets really intense and people are all screaming and tortured
hmm
is
Yeah.
like direct. You have to draw a direct line to this.
Yeah. No.
Um,
No shit, man. And I just love. I guess there's quotable lines in it too. When someone's like, I think I want this. I was like, do you think or do you know? When she's like, wants. I think I want you to. I think I want to get out of the truck. Do you think? And then when he says something about racing fans, I McConaughey later was in a movie called Killer Joe by William Friedkin. Anyone
yes.
see that?
Oh, I
So
saw it opening night. I fucking love
right.
that movie. That's an
I saw it on a
amazing
matinee
film.
with a bunch of senior citizens, and we were all laughing at it, which made me feel really good about that generation. Um, so
It's like,
or they were out on an afternoon from wherever they were being kept. But still, I I think McConaughey is. I'd like to see more of him as a maniac.
As he gets
me
older,
too.
they'll probably maniac him up a bit more. That
Yeah.
tends to
Well,
I
they've
happen with
done
mean,
these movies.
some hagsploitation with men. The Jenny Penn movie
yep.
sex
Hmm.
offender Jeffrey Rush
Good
and
stuff.
John Lithgow. Yeah, that one is almost like a Baby Jane, but with dudes. It was really wonderful. So maybe we'll get McConaughey at some point.
Hmm.
He'll pull off a late career.
He
Uh,
reminded me a little bit of Billy Bob Thornton in
oh,
Venom
Sling.
too.
Oh, right.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
Just like
yes.
because like you that accent is so friendly, but then when he turns it evil, it's real creepy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's
His
Deliverance.
was like
Yeah.
Darla's kind of the same way. Like like we haven't really talked about her. Like her performance to me was just like that is real. Those two people playing off of each other, that is psychopaths.
Oh
If you
God, yeah.
know like people who are in like the most toxic relationship possible and they're going to keep escalating it because they're like just completely empty inside. It's
Yes, aside from
so
Leatherface, she
fascinating.
was my favorite
Yeah, I
actor
was
in
about
the
to say the
movie.
reason I was like slightly smack talking Renee Zellweger is just because she was so good. I was like,
Oh yeah, she
that
was
to
acting
Yeah.
me.
circles around everybody.
I,
Yeah.
also, I just said Billy Bob Thornton. I meant Woody Harrelson.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Well,
Yeah, we were
Same,
just
same
like
vibe.
old
I
white
was
Renee,
guy. We follow.
cross-referencing. I was just sitting there thinking of the accent turn, subtle
Yeah.
accent turn as John Goodman and Barton Fink. He does a good job of that, and there's Charlie,
Oh God,
where
that's true.
he because
People have
he
no
seems
idea how
slightly
scary
sinister
that
from the
movie did.
start, and then at the
Yeah.
end he's going to show you the life of the mind. So,
um, her name is Tony Perensky. I just want to shout, and she's Canadian, so
okay, not from
Wow.
Texas.
not from Texas.
They
I
don't
think
like
She
she
that in
lived
seems to
in
know
Texas for a
Texas.
long time.
a lot of boot Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
I've got a 10 star for you, Mark. Maybe you've got something, but I'll read
I've
this one.
got something somewhere. Go
I wonder if
ahead.
it's the same one.
Could be.
Honestly, one of the best movies I've ever seen. You couldn't make a worse movie if you tried. This movie does everything wrong, leaves out huge parts of the plot line, has some of the worst acting I've ever seen. Disagree with the last part. This combination is basically the perfect storm for one of the most poorly made and crappiest movies of all time. The thing is, that's what makes it freaking hilarious. The craptastical nature of this movie combined with the complete seriousness with which it is delivered is perfect. Honestly, when I say you couldn't make a worse movie, I mean you couldn't make a funnier one. It is supposed to be a comedy, so whatever. This movie is one of the best comedies I've ever seen, hands down. Can we say Matthew McConaughey in a TV remote operated bionic leg? Yeah, best movie of '94 and truly kickstarted Renee Zellweger's career. Oh, the other thing I was gonna say, am I dumb? When do we fully notice that McConaughey has a robo leg in this movie?
Oh, immediately. He
Yeah,
shows
Okay.
up
pretty
like
early on,
he's
and then like they do seed the remote quite early as well.
Yeah, okay. I didn't fully
So yeah,
notice
you're
for
just
quite a
done.
while. Okay.
Hit-
Just checking.
that that's also a parallel with Doctor Strangelove, isn't it? He's basically Doctor Strangelove.
Yeah.
But okay,
That's right.
so I got one. 4 teens, 4 hours, but 3 deaths. Who will live? No question mark. This movie was actually one of the best movie that I ever saw. This movie that is basically about 4 teens, the nerdy guy Sean, his girl Jenny, and the bitchy girl Heather, and her boyfriend Barry the jock, all get lost in the woods coming back from their prom. They find help, but then they notice they're all about this massacre. They end up getting slaughtered by Leatherface one by one. When Sean and Barry, Cy, and Heather is suffering on the meat hook, Jenny is getting attached and captured. She then tries to get Heather and herself away from the Chainsaw Man eating family. 10 out of 10. IMDb is the best. 9 out of 15 found that
I
helpful.
already did a plot summary, dude.
He was just giving IMDb a 10 out of 10, not the film.
We need
Um,
more ratings for IMDb itself.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
sure.
tell you what, I wouldn't give it 10 out of 10.
Sometimes the app will be like, "Are you enjoying it?" And I'm like, "Ask me
I
later,
hate it.
bitch."
Yeah, I'm like, you just lost a star by asking me if I'm enjoying it while I'm trying to do something.
Exactly.
So it's like old man app corner.
I always say yes and then refuse to give a review just to tease it.
That's a
I've
good
done that a
idea.
lot. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I am enjoying it, but I don't want to leave a review.
Five
I'm
stars, no
watching a
notes.
movie. I'm watching
Yeah.
a movie. I don't want to be bothered to write a review of the movie I'm halfway through. Yeah, that makes sense.
So should I do like a bad review since we all pretty much liked it?
I guess so. Okay. I was looking for least helpfuls, which I guess you usually do. But
If
yeah,
you
sure.
find
Least help.
anything, then go for
I
it.
got one with 0 helpful, 3 not helpfuls, but I'm not finding like a high hit rate. So why don't you go with yours? And
Let's
it's
see.
not that interesting a review, so do yours.
What is this? First of all, the misogynistic, ugly, stupid, useless alpha male high school pig guy was too annoying and embarrassing to see whenever he's on screen. So I really wanted him to die miserably, but gore scenes are getting less intense and cheaper since the first movie. It's so disappointing. Characters of the Sawyer family members are less interesting too. It was the fun part to see how crazy the members are, but now the male siblings just turned to violent, brainless, sexist, except for Leatherface. Why did they kill off the nice guy first? If they can't give us decent slasher, at least give us a satisfying storyline. 0 out of 3 found that helpful. I don't know
Hmm.
if that was worth reading.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. So
Well,
bad reviews for this movie don't count.
no, that person
Uh,
doesn't know anything.
Be compelling. Be compelling if you're
That
gonna make
sounded
the
like
point.
some like a conservative person trying to write what they thought a
What
leftist
it
would sound like.
That's one thing about the internet that just never ceases to amaze me. It's that people really badly want you to know how big of an idiot they are. It's like, just shut up and no one will know.
Well, it's like, yeah, it's main character syndrome is just it's just life now. That's just everybody.
I
It's all
want
the time. Me
there's
too.
I want to be the quote guy because there's the quote, but I can't remember who said it or how it goes, so I'm not gonna. Which is ironic because the quote was about the whole you can open your mouth and confirm you're an idiot or keep it closed and leave them guessing or whatever. But
Yeah.
I have opened my mouth and have confirmed that I am an idiot.
Okay,
All right.
I'm trying a new thing here where I'm looking for the least prolific reviewers. So they only wrote
Someone who
like,
just reviewed this.
yeah,
I don't know if
worst
that's a good
picture.
way to. Go
Well,
ahead.
let's try this one. This one is already a little bit of fun. I
People
read the
love it
first
when we
two.
workshop how to do the podcast on the podcast.
Yeah.
Worst picture. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre worked once, but it wouldn't work again. This is the worst horror movie I've ever seen. It didn't work for the second time, not even the third time. Why would it work for the fourth time? The problem is that some directors are only doing this job because they think someday they will win an Academy Award, a Golden Globe, or any other prize. If they work only for that, they will get nothing. It makes me go down when I know that a dumb movie is about to come. Let me read that sentence again. It makes
Wow.
me go down when I
I
know
go
that a
down when I
dumb
think it's
movie is
about to
about to
come.
come. Most of all the sequels. I only saw a few sequels that worked. I'm going to name three. The Godfather Part 2 and 3, Indiana Jones, and Star Wars, which that Star Wars is kind of a sequel.
What are you
Besides
doing watching Texas Chainsaw 4 if those are the movies you think it'll
beside
make?
those and some others, no sequel has ever worked.
Wait. So why were they bringing up awards? Were they saying that the people in this film weren't going to win awards?
Well,
Because
if you
they
make
most
this
certainly did.
No, their goal was to win an
Okay.
Academy Award with this movie, is what they're saying,
I,
or
I
at least
feel
a Golden Globe.
I feel slightly dumber for just having heard that.
Well, they only wrote one review, if that makes you feel better.
Oh my God,
That
that's
was
the
pretty.
movie they.
Yeah, that's the important. That's
That
the
was
only
the
thing that's
least
important.
prolific reviewer because that's a search you can do. So I just did it. There we go. Maybe that's a new fun one to do. That's kind of like the new least helpful. Um,
Yeah. Oh my
well,
God.
shall we hack the limbs off of
Um,
this one with a chainsaw today, or any other
one
big
more
points?
thing
Mark's got a
I want to
finger.
do. One
All
more
right,
thing I want to
Columbo.
do, which is one more thing. What? That's so weird that the top cast. I was just going to see if we're going to see, going to see if we're going to see, going to see if we're going
So
to
I
see.
broke your brain with that
I'm
review.
ruining this. I'm ruining this. If we're going to see Renee Zellweger and or Matthew McConaughey, we'll see Matthew McConaughey
Interstellar.
in Interstellar.
Possibly something else.
Is Renee Zellweger in any bad movies or bad list movies? Because I feel like, oh, Me, Myself, and Irene. I thought that was on the bad list,
That's
but it's
not on the
something.
bad list. It's
No, who would put that in a bad
Jack
list?
and
Yeah,
Jill's on the bad list.
Oh,
we were
that's
talking
why I got
about
confused.
Yeah, I thought that might be what you're thinking of.
an actor who peed a lot in their movies. Well, when Jim Carrey pisses in Me, Myself, and Irene, and it goes right into the wall, that's like one of the funniest scenes in any comedy. Because
But
he's like, "Why am I pissing like I've had sex all night?"
I was about to say, does that occasionally happen to you and you're disappointed because you weren't just doing that? It's like, if that's going to happen, I should at least get the benefit part.
I mean, it's that scene is
Also, is
I
that a
recently
thing? Is that really a
rewatched it for the
thing?
first time in years just to see that.
That's the only thing I remember about the whole movie, to be honest.
Oh, you don't remember his
Yeah.
thumb getting blown off and the fish eats it?
No, I only remember
Oh,
the piss
dude.
scene.
Yeah. No, it's great, and like his sons are all black.
Yeah, the
And
the gag I remember is when the sons are babies and they're at the barbecue. And he's
yeah,
got the
so
big
that
sausage, and the guy's like, "Those kids' dicks are as big as that sausage." And Jim Carrey's like,
yeah,
"Chop, chop, chop, chop,
he's
chop, chop, chop."
his wife, not to make this all about this now, but his wife runs off with Tony Cox, who most people know from Bad Santa. And so he's left with the kids, and they at the end of the movie they're all in a single engine plane waving at the audience. Thanks for watching our motherfucking movie. And that's how it ends.
I remember
That's
really
great.
liking that film.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good one.
Well, that's if True Detective was a movie, it would be on the good list. But Wolf
Yeah.
of Wall Street is
TV
close.
shows TV shows also kind of function on a slightly different, like,
Yeah.
rubric too.
Well, yeah, but True Detective is probably one of those where it probably does have like 30,000 ratings.
Like it's
Um,
like a TV show would be like 9.5, but if it were actually a movie, it'd be like 7.8, right? It's like
Who
I think it's
knows?
once you've watched a bunch of episodes of something, you've spent all that time and you just can't give it too bad a rating, maybe.
I
I
remember when
kind
True
of thought,
Detective came out, there was a guy at my work was like, I don't know why you go to the movies. Everything like True Detective is better than the movies. I just stay home.
yeah, that one show, and then like 3 or 4 other ones. I'm sorry. Yes,
Sound like the sequel guy.
Some-
These sequels are good, maybe a few others too.
So yeah,
Maybe it was
some
him.
shows, and
Maybe
then
he
some of
wrote
those
that.
other shows.
Mark, did you write
The
that
only
review?
reason-
Yes, I
Yeah.
did. Haha, I kind of thought that Empire Records would be lower, but it is at a 6.7. People
Okay.
like Empire Records.
Anyway, I look, I don't think we're seeing Renee again, so
Yeah,
yeah.
bye bye Renee Zellweger. You did great. Thank you for your screaming.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
I guess we'll wrap it up then. Andrew, what are you doing? How should we thank you for your service?
When does this come out?
End of the month, I think maybe. I'm not 100% sure.
All right, so I am 100% focused on the 17th Gonzorific Underground Movie Show, which is happening at Athens Cine the weekend of November 7th and 8th. Will feature new movies like Cheerleader Reunion, Sluts for Satan, and a bunch more really weird things. You'll see my friend eat saltine crackers off of her unclothed breasts. Uh, we just got a lot of good things happening. Also, by this time, well, let's see, September 1st, you can watch my latest feature-length film, 119.mp4. If you've got Tubi, TUBI, aka America's Video Store, that's available on that. And it is the world's first found footage horror stand-up comedy special.
All right. Sorry, everyone was thinking about that for a second after you said it.
Good, good.
Over here, we do a lot of podcasting. Podcastios.org. Luke over there loves Pokemon. We got the Game Show. We've got Mark and I are talking Severance over at Imprison in Prison. Twilight Zone just completed at Time Enough Podcast. Dig some of that stuff. I skipped one.
Yeah,
But I
Killer
said-
Joe is at 6.7. Go see it, and then go see it. Watch
Go
Killer
see it.
Joe. And then
Go
rate
see
it.
Killer Joe. Go demand
Yeah.
at your local theater
Get
and
on the
screen
list.
Killer Joe.
Watch Killer Joe while eating
Violently
Kentucky
with a
Fried
chainsaw.
Chicken.
Bring
Exactly,
a
that's the
chainsaw when
only
you
way.
demand a screening.
Yes.
Yep. I
Okay.
can't top that.
Hit a stop there. Luke, I assume you're going to the thingy.
I am indeed.
Okay, if you're having a